Mitch Miller, it is Monday, February 13th, 2023 at 9:50 a.m. Eastern Time, USA. This is my video journal. I'm Mitch Miller. A little bit of housekeeping. So in the last one I talked about the right to trial by jury, and I said it should have been reinstated in 1875. It wasn't. Certainly after World War II, when the Nazis were able to round up Jews, homosexuals, gypsies without trial and kill them in concentration camps. Certainly after seeing that, how easily the government can round people up, deny them the right to trial by jury, and just eliminate them like that, you would think that the United States would have reinstated the right to trial by jury as a safeguard so that that couldn't happen in the United States, where there are many different races and a lot of racial tension because of it. But they didn't, so hopefully we'll get it reinstated soon. I intend to talk about it on my podcast, possibly this week, and release it next week from Florida. So I did go to the library, the Carnegie Library, and just as housekeeping, I am being censored by the Carnegie Library system, at least their computer science division. I logged into a computer and I checked to make sure all of my websites were up and available at that library, the main Carnegie Main Library, and the almavoter.com website, the website dedicated to a platform that allows students, faculty, staff, employees to govern their own universities through direct democracy. That is being blocked at the Carnegie Library through their computers. I checked on a couple different platforms, Firefox, Google. The website won't come up. Seems to be working fine when I do it from private devices, but on those public library computers, I am being censored. I don't know why. There's nothing, I don't think of any kind of lewd or lascivious content on that website. Simply the idea that we could govern ourselves through direct democracy, university people could. And I looked into the Carnegie Library system, and I believe there's close to 1,700 libraries in the United States. There's around 3,000 worldwide. If they all use the same computer technology system of censoring and barring certain websites from use on their computer systems, that means I'm censored from thousands of public libraries, probably hundreds of thousands of public computers, and millions of people are unable to see that proposal of the Alma Voter voting platform. I intend to talk about this on my podcast as well. So, if the public library is censoring me, then I imagine every university library has got the message, and you probably can't find the almavoter.com website on any of the university library computers. Might even be barred on private devices using the Wi-Fi in certain libraries. This is not America. This is not freedom of speech, and I think I have a good case about being censored by a public library system. I don't know if I'll ever find a lawyer that would take up any of my fights, but that's housekeeping. What I want to talk about today, I talked about how I've been releasing certain things that I was going to include in my book about Donald Trump and his abuse of power and technology, and about me being mayor and working with governors of Pennsylvania and California, called The Consultant. I haven't written this book. I don't know when I'll have time to write it. Probably won't find the time to write it. That's why I'm releasing some of the information. I said at the beginning of the book it would be my character, Mitch Miller from Fem Party, in Western Psych, in a mental hospital, talking about his ideas for being mayor of Pittsburgh. And hypothetically, he actually is the mayor. He's just being hidden in that mental facility to protect him from Donald Trump's technology. But it's unclear whether he's mentally unstable, whether the patients in there are actual officials, or whether they're mentally unstable as well. It's kind of an interesting way to start a book, I think. But one of the other ideas I had for mayor of Pittsburgh, because I argue in Fem Party that we should have our own electrical grid, and this plays into what I'm trying to do at Ken's camp, develop a nonprofit that can build green energy solar panels, but also our own electrical grid. And that's where I need computer science people to help me build the hardware and software to develop this technology so that we can get maximum amount of money for generating electricity from our homes, to make it viable and to make it so that people can make money from their homes. I have lots of ideas of how people can make money from their homes or apartments or rentals, so that they don't have to necessarily work so hard or so many hours. If we rearrange things so that billionaires aren't making all the money, we can make money from our investments in our homes instead of investing in the stock market that makes billionaires even more rich. It's empowering people. It's true democracy. It's true capitalism, where the individual puts down capital and is able to make money from it. Anyhow, this idea, I said we put a shed up at Ken's campground and put the hardware and software in there to monitor all the different sites and cabins. Maybe it should be like a trailer with battery systems in it, and an air conditioning unit in there to keep everything correct. And the reason I'm kind of pushing for a trailer is that we can put these in suburbs. People can put them in their yards, connect the grid into it, and then people get sustainable power, battery backup. And they're not incorporating batteries into all of their houses, which is a serious issue for firefighters. If we have it just in a trailer, we can let that kind of burn if it catches on fire. Hopefully it doesn't. We'll have safeguards against that, rather than everyone putting a battery bank in their house. So what this idea is, and I was inspired by a fraternity brother. His name is Chris Cassidy. He's an artist here in Pittsburgh. He flips houses now, I think, and stuff like that. But he used to work for a concrete form company down in the Strip District. They made, line sculptures and stuff like that, and they poured countertops out of concrete, things like that. So what I was thinking, what got me thinking about it, was a system for in the city, right? For us to own the grid in the city. This can be used in low-income neighborhoods with blank lots. I have an empty lot right down from my house. I thought we could do it there. So my idea is like that, either a trailer with a battery back. Well, actually, my idea is this for in cities: a shipping container in that empty lot 2 doors down from my house. We build the grid out from that underground. I ask neighbors if they want to hook in. If my neighbor that owns that lot wants to hook in, the neighbor next door, on the other side, my house. And the shipping container is an exercise complex kind of thing. So there's exercise machines in there that feed into the battery backup, into the power, the small microgrid. And there might be a way where people, if they exercise on these machines, they get a reduction, or they get paid through like a city portal towards their electric or water or whatever bills. So the more they exercise, they get a few cents per mile or whatever, but it's incentivizing exercise. So these are open little gyms all over the city. We'll have covers in the summertime, the machines can be outside. You can ride a stationary bicycle or an elliptical or whatever, and there's covers, you put them back on. You're responsible for helping take care of the equipment, things like that. So little exercise gyms that are free to the public, but you might have to join some kind of account to verify that, you know, in the track to make sure the equipment isn't stolen or damaged. But they're essentially free to any Pittsburgh resident. So the grid builds out from these shipping containers, and the way we do it is through the sidewalks and curbs already in our city. So my idea is, instead of ripping up sidewalks at first, eventually we put the electrical lines under the sidewalks, but at first we use the curbs. And this is my thought process as mayor of Pittsburgh. We use the curbs. We use this company down in the Strip District for building custom heated curbs. They're reinforced with steel, but they also have heating wires in the curb, and it's all connected into this house by house, into this electrical infrastructure. So in front of each house is a station for charging your car, and we run electrical lines through the curbs. They're kind of hollow inside, but we cement them in place so they're locked in place. Cars can run up on them. They're reinforced with steel. They won't break. But there's data lines and electric lines running through the curbs. They connect to these stations in front of the houses. They also can run into the house to tie into its electrical and data network. The station is a charging station, and through the city we allow people that buy electric vehicles to own the parking space in front of their house. So this station might flash up no parking between these hours or whatever. People can schedule when their car is going to be parked out when they're at work. You can park here, but so on and so forth. You got to move it by this time because I'm coming home. I want to plug my electric vehicle in. Other electric vehicles can park there during off hours when it's displayed. They could even plug in, and the homeowner makes money from a couple cents per kilowatt hour from people charging their cars right there in front of their house. So it's a way to allow inner city people to have electric vehicles that don't have garages, don't have parking spots. We incentivize it, and we tie it into our own electrical grid system. Excuse me. So then the data cables are connected into the station. The data cables are connected into our house. Through my furnace company I have an idea for smart homes that are wired, not wireless. They're all wired. I have a good idea for this. And you can choose whether your home's connected. You get your internet through us or through another provider. You always get a choice. You choose your electric provider. If you sign up, we'll run the data and stuff to your house through the curbs. And then when we can afford to redo whole streets, sidewalks, we move the cables in under the sidewalks where it's a little safer than a curb where it could become exposed. That's what we're going to run into, is city planners worrying about the curbs breaking and the electrical services being exposed, someone touching it or whatever. So and the curbs are heated, so you can push your sidewalk snow onto the curb. And in the winter, the city does control that aspect. When there's weather coming in, they can turn the curbs on in front of your house to be heated. You can manually turn them on if you want through the station, and melts your snow from your sidewalk when you shovel it on there. when the plows come through and push piles of snow off to the side, you can come and push it with your shovel in against the curb. It, melts the snow as it comes, and they're heated curbs. Eventually they could be heated sidewalks and curbs. That could be an option, but that gets a little bit pricey. I'm thinking just heated curbs might be enough to keep the snow kind of melting and the water flowing so that we don't get a huge bombardment into our stormwater system on a rainy day after a bunch of snow is sitting. This winter they're not really needed, but as a possible mayoral candidate, I think about these things, about snow day, about moving the snow and stuff like that. So that's, I think I got most of the idea out about these sustainable power grids, how we can put shipping containers, little exercise centers. People can get their smart homes wired up so that their exercise machines are in their house, and they get paid for generating electricity through exercise. I've talked about this in the Fem Party book. Motivates people a little bit to exercise more. Yeah, so then you can see as we reach out and hit different houses, say there's 3 houses on my block that have the electrical component with the battery system in the shipping container, the hardware, software running, monitoring everything, solar panels on the shipping container. Then the houses connected start to incorporate solar panels onto their property so that we can essentially eventually go off of the power grid with just maybe one line running into it for a backup if our individual grid doesn't totally, but it starts to build a building block so that we can structure the whole city so that we can kind of get sustainable power from our own mini grids all over the city, and people can make money from their solar panels because people might pay a little bit more to buy, or pay what the going rate is to buy power, but it's right across the street from their house, and there's no loss over the transmission of the lines, and they'd rather pay their neighbor than the power company if they can match the same price, and that neighbor gets paid into their system, and it reduces maybe their water bill, or they get paid a check from our organization, I guess, or the city. Oh, the other thing I wanted to talk about, so we have the data lines going to these charge stations in front of each house. We have our electric vehicles with all kinds of computer technology and cameras on them plugged in front of our houses. So then we partner with the police department and the security system for the smart homes, and all these plugged in cars on the street, when they're plugged in, the data station has access to their cameras. So their backup camera, a dash camera, side view cameras, and it's a way to monitor the street at night when people kind of tag people who are walking out late at night, things like that. Maybe draw attention to certain blocks. It'll be all one interconnected kind of secure policing system for street by street using these smart electric cars and things like that. So I'm not totally against computers in cars and cameras and stuff like that. If we use, like I've always said, if we're using technology in the best possible way, then I'm for it. But if it's only gonna, the way the system is structured right now, it's only used in the most profitable ways, and that doesn't have the best interests of both humanity and technology for the future. We have to have people that form non-profits like me. They're not profit seeking, that want to live comfortably, want to do what they want to do, but don't need to be the next billionaire on the list of billionaires that will use technology in the best possible way. So this is some of my ideas as mayor of the first steps to having charging stations in front of houses, help the police department out by using the cameras that already exist on the cars, and motivate people to exercise, things like that. So it all comes down to concrete cast curbs, how we can build this infrastructure. We don't take down the overhead infrastructure anytime soon. People can choose where they want their electric, but if they want to be contained on their street and they have an empty lot, or we can park a trailer on the street. If somebody owns the lot in front of their house and doesn't own a vehicle, we could park one of these trailers on the street in front of their house, tie it in through the station in front of that house, and provide battery backup hardware, software, so that a few houses on that block can be kind of smart homes that are monitored independently, owned by the public, not owned by some private corporation monitoring your house. And I think people might embrace that a little bit. So looking for computer scientists as always to help with this project. It all starts in Utica, but if I'm elected mayor, I'll try to work these programs into the system as much as possible. If you'd like to sponsor my shipping container, I can buy this property right next door to my house, and we can start to set up local gym and electricity situation right here on my block, and build it out from there. So that's the idea. Join me tomorrow when I talk about a game show, because I'm always looking for the entertainment for disability TV. It's a game show idea I have that fights against food deserts, basically, and brings a justice to low-income people, and how that ties into the subsidy program for green energy. Thanks for watching. Join me tomorrow.